Felicia, you've played Kinga since 2017. As a fan of the series way before that, has that initial kind of crazy excitement ever worn off, or is every day still really exciting?
The most exciting days are when Joel is on set and you could hear his voice behind you, and I feel like the TV's on because he has such a distinct voice. And so I'm like, is he real? Is that real behind me? But no, it's really awesome to feel like I definitely feel like I own Kingna in a way that I didn't even in the beginning. And this last season, I definitely felt like I owned her maybe even too much. I had way
That's
too much
great.
fun,
That's
but I'm
too
hoping
great.
people are enjoying the new season because it was very fun to do.
Awesome. And Rebecca, what's
Mhm.
the process of writing an episode of MST3K like? Because it has such a legacy, and it's really revolutionized like commentary and riffing. So, what's that like to do?
It's like poking your own eye repeatedly, repeatedly, repeat. No, kidding, kidding, just kidding. Boy, the process changed a little bit this season from what we've done in previous seasons. But what was great was I felt like it was way more collaborative this time around. So all of our writers' rooms this season were Zoom rooms, and we work on this program called Collaborate, where if you want to write ahead of time, you can. It's also great once we're in the room. Sometimes we generate ideas just there spontaneously, and we get to kind of refine the writing process afterwards by doing some riff producing. And then there'll be certain days where we're pitching sketch ideas for host segments. And it's great to hear all the crazy things that people want to write towards. And our head writer would assign us to different things, and we'd just write away. So there are a lot of layers. Am I making it sound too complicated or too simple?
No,
What do you think?
it's exactly what I hoped it would be like. So, yeah.
It is pretty
And
great. It is really fun because it was more collaborative. The last
yeah,
couple seasons, it was more like you send your riffs in, and then
Yeah.
they kind of went through them and picked them. But it was really fun to be able to just support other people's comedy and just realize how brilliant the writers on the show are.
absolutely. And Felicia, how do you think your history with online media, whether it's the guild or all this stuff you've done, kind of prepared you for this role, especially now that MST3K is having its own online service?
I think that I'm just a DIY girl, always trying to get into the system, but not ever quite making it in. So I think, after all these years, I'm like, I think I kind of like this the better. And so Mystery Science Theater has always been that sort of fringe, like everybody knows about it, but it's not really part of anything. It just does its own thing. And that's, I feel like I definitely share that spirit. The fact that the fans have made this happen for a couple seasons now is just phenomenal. It just shows that, just because Hollywood greenlights some things doesn't mean they really know what people want to watch. And so, regardless of what, goes on in the future, I'm just like really grateful to have been Kinga and been part of like one of my favorite shows.
Absolutely. And Rebecca, you
Mhm.
you both act and write in the show. Do you have a preference for one or the other? Do they kind of blend into each other?
They totally blend into each other. I really, that's my background. I come from an improv and sketch comedy background. So this is kind of right up my alley. It's fun writing for others. It's fun writing for myself. It's fun writing with others.
Hmm.
And it's really the dream scenario. And then to be doing this for MST3K, which is, a show that kind of formed me comedically. It's such a lovely trip to be on this side of it. So I like it all, and I love being on camera, and I love being in front of that live audience. Like I did the live shows and the Netflix and then Gizmoplex season, like all of it. I love all of it.
So cool. And this one's for both of you. We can start with Felicia. Which of the remastered Turkey Day episodes was your favorite from before?
Well, I haven't seen the remastered versions of it, but I have to say Catalina Caper has always been one of my favorite. Also Mitchell,
Yeah.
like they definitely hit the nail on the head with the top episodes. And I really love Santos and Beyond Atlantis. Those are going to be seen for the first time kind of in front of widely distributed because the
Mhm.
season has been at the Gizmoplex um rolling out. So I think that'll be really exciting to not only revisit classics like those, but also the new ones. I think people have a really good time with them.
For sure. And Rebecca?
I mean, yeah, you can't beat Mitchell. Like, oh my gosh, Mitchell is just one of my favorite things on earth.
You cannot.
It's yeah, and it is one of those that we just quote all the time.
Mhm.
And I'm a sucker for Catalina Caper. I will say I'm like, what is it? I'm looking at it right now. Parts the Clonus Horror. That one I'm not as familiar with, and I'm
I don't
very
think I've seen that one actually. Yeah, I haven't seen
it's
that
been
one.
so long since I've seen it that I can't wait to see it now that it's going to look better. And sound better, because that's what part of the surgically enhanced thing is the riffs aren't changed. It's just the visual, like the actual movie is going to be crisper, clearer. Ooh, did you hear that crunch, or is that just me? Sorry.
Was
No.
that your body? Did you just step
I
on a
just
snail? What's going on?
crunched my
Oh
body.
my
You know how I
gosh.
do.
Oh God.
No, I kind of bumped a chord, and maybe I shouldn't have.
Okay.
So I apologize for that
Oh,
horrible
good.
crunch. That's what you can expect with surgical enhancement. A lot of crunching. No. No, I'm excited to see some of these that it's either been so long that I'm not as familiar with. It'll be cool to see them better and like experience those again at a crisper level.
Yeah, I can't wait. And Felicia, Kinga's had her own journey throughout the seasons. What direction do you hope that she as a person would go in?
I think she'd make a great mom. I feel
Oh.
like she'd be very nurturing and patient and understanding with a child. It's just perfect. He really has the temperament to nurture a small child and be the best that they can be. So I really want that journey for her.
Rebecca, you look like you've got something on your mind.
Oh, I'm just yes, Kinga. Whatever Kinga says is what I will agree with. No, part of me wants just hearing you say that. Part of me wants you to have like this fake child, but you think it's real, and we all have to treat it like it's real
Oh,
around
that'd be
you.
really funny. That'd be a
So
really
she
good gag.
thinks she's a mom, but we're
Mhm.
like, oh boy, because Kinga has a bit of a temper. But it'd just be funny to like play that aspect of like, yes, this is her baby. It's not a real baby, but you're a mommy.
That would be
now.
really funny, actually. Yeah.
So
No,
sorry.
she's the
that-
worst. She's a very damaged lady, and that's why I love the things that I got to do with Rebecca. I think Turkey Day is going to be very, very fun, and people are
Turkey
going to
Day's
really
gonna be
enjoy
fun.
the shenanigans we get into.
That's awesome. And Rebecca,
Mhm.
MST3K strikes a really unique and great balance of earnest criticism and good-natured comedy. So how do you kind of go about keeping the critiques from ever maybe feeling harsh or too mean?
I don't. I think the way I approach the writing is I try to maybe attack more of a character choice that's being made in the movie, as opposed to like, this plot's awful, like just calling it
Mm-hmm.
out. I like to kind of heighten what's so annoying about a character, or maybe about the movie itself, like heighten that aspect, as opposed to just slam it, if that makes any sense. So like if
Mm-hmm.
some character has a really annoying voice, in my head all the riffs are in that really annoying voice that the character has, just to like make it even more grating on the watchers, the viewers, our lovely
The
audience.
Watchers. That
The
sounded
Watchers.
ominous. Like they're demons of some
The
kind.
MSTies are the watchers. Yes.
Always there.
Always there, always
And
watching.
Felicia, you mentioned this a bit earlier, but what's that Gizmoplex experience been like, with that knowledge that fans are really directly contributing and funding and being really excited about this content?
I just think it's awesome. You get a lot of defeats in Hollywood, and you can't really. I think the one thing I've learned is that you can understand the business aspect of something, but you can't let it get to you emotionally and feel like, what is being rejected is not worthy. Well, it's worthy. It's just not for them at that moment. And so what I love is that Joel not only was like, I'm going to keep doing the show, but I'm going to build a destination. I'm going to have a place where fans can always feel at home and can connect with each other. And it was kind of old school, but at the same time feels even more pertinent now with Twitter like collapsing. Like we got to go back to the smaller communities where we actually can get to know. It's like the Cheers, of online digital portals. I really appreciate what they've done, and I hope to see many more seasons, done on the Gizmoplex. That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
And to that end too, like it's been fun kind of creating this bonus content that
Yeah.
I guess I knew it would happen, but I didn't know to what extent. So
Mhm.
so yeah, not to be a total jerk, but like writing the Cynthia selects and doing those and having Mary Jo do Pearl selects, and then
Yeah.
maybe Kingham might be doing one. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
I can say
Who
that.
knows?
And Mega Cynthia doing hers, and then just these little, in all the vault pics, there are these little blips of like behind the scenes with like Jonah and his bots and Emily and her bots. So it's just fun to like just make this universe even richer within the Gizmoplex.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And Rebecca, do you have like a particular famous favorite riff that comes to mind when you think of all the ones you've done?
Oh, that I've done?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh God, that's a lot. That's very
tricky.
specific.
I'll always, I'll think what always comes to mind is something I pitched that made the room laugh, but then it didn't get into the episode.
Oh, yes.
That's like always one of the
Yes.
first ones I think of. I will say one that is quoted back to me quite a bit is probably the first time GPC drops down and she's like, that's Mr. Filing Cabinet. It's an honor to do that because GPC never riffed before, and in season 11 they brought her in to do that. I didn't write that one. I can't take credit for it. I can only take credit for saying it, but it is funny. And I love how many people will say that back to me. And it's really nice.
For sure.
I have one that didn't make it in, but it was for my first thing I ever riffed, and it was for Hercules, and I took it way too seriously. Like I spent hours rifting.
Yes.
Over after a couple more seasons, you're like, girl, you don't have to work so hard.
Yeah.
But there was one in Hercules where you get a sudden close up on the woman, and she suddenly has purple hair for some reason.
Yes.
And I made a Twilight Sparkle joke, which was a deep My Little Pony joke that I really wanted to make, but I'm 100% sure that Joel just didn't understand where I was coming from.
I would have gotten that. I wrote on
Thank
Hercules
you.
too. I wrote on Hercules too, and I would have gotten that for sure.
I can only regret. Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And now it's out there, so everyone can let you know how good it was.
Right.
It does. It did indeed exist, just not in canon.
Just not. Yeah. The Loves of Hercules, season 11. It's a great episode.
Yeah.
Awesome. And my last question for both of you, we can start with Felicia, is if rights and funding were not an issue in any way, what would be your dream movie to riff?
I think I will say Pretty Woman. Because it really is bad. I don't think it's it's obviously maybe not as family appropriate, but that movie does not hold up. It does not hold up. And it's only because I saw it recently and I was like, oh no. There's a lot that happens that doesn't hold up. That one does not hold up.
Definitely. And Rebecca, do you have one too?
I have one called The Gnome-mobile. It is a Disney movie. It's an old school Disney one, and it's a trip. It's not on Disney Plus, so don't try to look for it there because it's a little too randy for Disney Plus. But yeah, the Gnome-mobile. Hunting for gnomes in the Gnome-mobile. Yeah.
That sounds incredible.
I'll sing the theme song at some point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time. It's been a lot of fun, and looking forward to Turkey Day.
Thank you. I think you're gonna like it.
It's gonna be fun. People are gonna love it.
Yeah.